ABC 7 Bangor.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
A person has been apprehended after a threat forced Mount Desert Island High School into lockdown Tuesday. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. Janet Mills is Maine's first female governor, and it's a role she's not ready to leave. We'll hear where she stands on the issues facing Mainers as Election Day approaches. And we'll take a look at how PFAS are affecting where some hunters plan to go find deer this year. Thank you for joining us. These stories and more are coming up. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey Susan, happy Wednesday afternoon, and your first weather forecast brought to you by Luigi and Fredericks across from Eastern Maine Medical Center, serving the greater Bangor area for over 65 years. Alrighty, here we are. What a beautiful picture here today. Nothing on the radar and satellite. That means a lot of sunshine for us today. There's a gusty north wind that could make things feel a little bit cooler from time to time too, as all this comes out of Canada. We had some showers and storms moving out overseas. We're still seeing a few bits of lighting with that though, but man, we're getting really lucky with high pressure that's presently starting to move in. We'll see a lot of sunshine today. Tonight will be mostly clear. Maybe some clouds will try to sneak in, but a little bit of fog cannot be ruled out either as we head towards early tomorrow morning. As for the wind, it'll be out of the northwest at around 15 miles per hour, sustained at times or less, with some gusty winds up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. That backs off later tonight, though, so things will become a lot nicer for the daytime tomorrow. As for today, we'll call it mostly sunny, a little breezy out there, highs in the lower 60s, that north wind getting up to around 20 miles per hour at times. Moving ahead towards tonight, 33 degrees, cooling off a bit, mostly clear. Some areas of dense fog cannot be ruled out, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. Moving ahead towards tomorrow, upper 50s, maybe lower 60s under a partly cloudy sky. South wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. That hourly forecast for the rest of the afternoon period, a lot of sunshine, temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s early. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. One person has been apprehended after a threat yesterday forced Mount Desert Island High School into lockdown. It was a long and stressful day for students, staff, and parents Tuesday after the school received that threat. The school went into lockdown at about 12:30 and stayed that way for hours. Authorities say the threat they received was serious. Police worked with the school administration to manage the situation.
It was really scary, just to hear that there was a threat outside the school and being in lockdown for 3 or more hours. The teachers weren't telling us anything. We were getting updates from other students online. We were trying to show the teacher as much as we could because they were obviously trying to figure everything out. And it was really stressful for everyone. And
yeah, we're just glad everybody's safe and can go home tonight, you know. Obviously, it's pretty real. Yeah.
A letter sent out to parents says the police thoroughly swept the school. Each student and staff was checked before boarding a bus to be taken to Mount Desert Elementary. A long line of parents formed as they waited to show identification and then pick up their children. There's no word yet on the exact nature or content of that threat. There are no classes at MDI High School today. Students will be able to return to campus between 12 and 2 today to retrieve their belongings and get their vehicles. Counselors will also be on hand at the school for any students who'd like to talk about the situation. There is good news in Howland at this hour. After a painstaking couple of days, crews have found the pipes that were leaking thousands of gallons of water. The town was flushing hydrants Monday afternoon when they discovered the water pressure starting to drop. They determined there was a leak in the water system. They notified the town of Lincoln, where they get their water, to see how many gallons they were using.
Normally, it ranges anywhere from 45 to 65 gallons a minute. Last night at the peak of it, they was sending us 800 gallons a minute, and we wasn't making any headway in our standpipe.
Public Works is almost done fixing the remaining leaks. Kelly at the town hall tells us the hope is to be able to lift the boil water order by Friday. Governor Janet Mills says she's not ready to leave the Blaine House just yet. Mills is running for re-election in hopes of serving as Maine's governor for another 4 years. Our Jody Hersey has more.
In 2019, Janet Mills became Maine's first female governor, and she's not ready to give up the title yet.
First day in office, I, by executive order, implemented the people's will and expanded Medicaid so that now more than 90,000 people in Maine have health care who didn't have it before.
Mills is running for re-election against Republican candidate Paul LePage, who has also served as the governor of Maine in years past. However, Mills says she and her opponent could not be more different, especially when it comes to Roe v. Wade.
I do not believe that women's rights and women's health care are things that are dispensable. Women are not second-rate citizens. We deserve every part of health care that we can get, and I will stand for those rights every day that I am the governor of the state of Maine.
Mills is just as passionate about fighting for more affordable housing here in the state and for better internet service for those working from home.
Workforce housing is at a critical stage. We need workforce housing. We need child care, and we're expanding our child care opportunities right now to keep working parents on the job. More broadband, high-speed internet is critical in this 21st century.
If elected, Mills says economic recovery for the state and its citizens will continue to be her priority.
I've been talking to businesses and individuals up and down the state to help us on the road to recovery, economic recovery, and that's what I want to focus on in the next 4 years.
In Bangor, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC 7 and Fox 22.
Millinocket is once again accepting recyclables at the curb. Due to the change, many items are now banned from trash pickup and must be recycled. Cardboard, paperboard, egg crates, and package containers, magazines, newspapers, tin cans, plastic containers, metal, office paper, and other items must now be recycled per town ordinance. For more information and a complete list of required recyclables, head to the Town of Millinocket's website. A few neighboring towns have the opportunity to replace 3 aging school buildings all at once. A.J. Douglas sat down with the superintendent of MSAD 49 to find out how.
On Election Day, Albion, Clinton, Benton, and Fairfield residents will vote on 2 special referendum questions. One question will request authorization for a new school building located at a proposed site in Benton. Residents will also have the chance to decide if a $1.8 million gymnasium expansion should take place. The gym project will also add more bleachers for public use.
So we're consolidating into one campus for efficiencies. And we have the issue of 3 aging school buildings that have really reached their life expectancy.
A teacher from Benton Elementary says she and her peers have concerns about the focus on a new school building when local teachers have not received raises and some employees do not have medical benefits. Hersom says the new school building consolidation will be paid for entirely by the state.
The bulk of the cost of the project, a little over $45 million, is subsidized by the state. So a new school is essentially free to our school community.
Hersom says the school district will provide transportation to the new school, which supporters say will provide multiple benefits for years to come.
It is something that is going to take the burden off the local community.
The superintendent reminds voters the district may not get a second chance at this opportunity, and if residents approve the consolidation project, then Benton Elementary will be the new location for a universal kindergarten system available to parents. In Fairfield, A.J. Douglas, ABC 7, Fox 22.
Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, a school in Guilford has launched a virtual reality classroom. We'll take a look when we return.
Jared Golden and the Democrats by the numbers. The worst inflation in 40 years. Home heating, groceries, gasoline, all through the roof. 87,000 new IRS agents. $20 billion in new taxes on the middle class. All because 83% of the time, Jared Golden votes with Biden and Pelosi. On November 8, stop the Democrats' war on the middle class. Defeat Jared Golden. The NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I am so fearful this winter for oil prices. We can't go on like this.
Jared Golden's votes are definitely making inflation worse.
Jared Golden is not independent.
Golden and Biden are lockstep.
I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I cannot support Jared Golden.
We need to make a change. Maine needs Bruce Poliquin.
Bruce Poliquin is concerned with Maine people of all walks of life.
I know Bruce Poliquin cares for Maine, and I know he'll fight for us.
I'm Bruce Poliquin, and I approve this message. message.
If you were hurt because of exposure to the toxic water at Camp Lejeune, Congress has made it possible for you to recover a settlement. Former Marine attorney James Beardsley wants to help you.
Call now to see if you qualify. Call 222-2222.
Tesoro Italian Restaurant serves Bangor's best pizza, pasta, and sandwiches. Dine in or take out. Located in downtown Bangor, across from the library. Open Tuesday through Sunday, 3 to 9, and for lunch at 11, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Come in and taste what everybody's talking about.
Janet Mills? 4 years ago, we filmed an ad here supporting her. But Janet has been a disaster for the state of Maine. She's driving up inflation, and her decisions have permanently harmed small businesses and our economy.
And she's bad for seniors and Maine families. Mills raised our electric bill, and she's pushing up home heating costs.
We need Paul LePage now.
We've got to vote for Paul LePage.
Janet Mills is crushing Maine families. Under her watch, Mainers will face rolling blackouts this winter, putting our most vulnerable, like seniors, at risk. And because of Mills and Joe Biden's failed agenda, Mainers will pay 72% more for home heating oil and $60 more each month for groceries. Mainers can't afford more of the failed Mills agenda. Vote no on Janet Mills. The top funder of Maine Families First is Thomas Klingenstein.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Bangor City Councilors are trying to decide how to allocate more than $20 million in federal funding. The city has had funding thanks to the American Rescue Plan. Councilors discussed where they think the surplus funds should be allocated during a workshop last night. Residents have been vocal about how they think the money should be spent. The council held 6 public sessions during which residents gave their opinions on the issue. During last night's workshop, city councilors listed their funding priorities and what the process of allocating funds would look like.
I think we should make sure that we are using this money that impacts all residents so that we are not leaving out children, senior citizens. I know that there's a great need for housing and homelessness services, but I want to make sure that we are thinking of all of our population.
The funds must be committed by December 2024 and spent by December 2026. A new immersive 360-degree virtual reality classroom recently opened at Penquist Community Elementary School. Matthew Duronsic has the story.
In a stark contrast from typical school classrooms with desks and a whiteboard, students at Piscataquis Community Elementary School are incorporating a new learning setting, a 360-degree immersed learning classroom. Piscataquis Community Elementary School principal Anita Wright advocated for this state-of-the-art room.
I realized that it had components that would allow for teaching, like especially with STEM, and it would also allow students to see places and have exposure that they wouldn't otherwise have.
The idea for a 360-degree virtual reality classroom was brought up during the pandemic to help students retain more information.
It began during the shutdown in 2020 in researching what might help students when they re-entered school. And at that time, virtual reality, I was reading about that it was a leading therapy, if you will, for anxiety, depression.
This project was funded through the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Grant. Teaming up with Dr. Pamela Thompson of Thomas College, she helped pitch the idea and helped during the design process of the classroom, which helped students learn in a way they've never experienced before.
It allows access for learners all over the globe to go all over the globe. You can be immersed in all sorts of environments. And so what it does is it brings those experiences to any learner.
The classroom can bring students to places almost anywhere in the world, including the Bahamas and Antarctica.
I just want them to be able to see the world outside of this rural Maine. Like if I'm reading a novel and it's taking place in a castle in Scotland, I want to take them to that castle in Scotland before we start and build that background knowledge for them to be able to understand what they're reading about or what they're learning about.
And the students say they are so blown away with what this classroom can do.
It's really cool. I think it's really cool that I'm in one of the only schools that has a 360 room.
And even teachers say this state-of-the-art room is already paying dividends.
That it really just brings them right into focus of what the lesson is about. It really engages them. They have a lot more questions when they get done coming out of this room. Really makes them be thinkers.
Matthew Juronsik, ABC7 and Fox 22.
After public health officials advised residents last year not to consume deer killed in Fairfield, some hunters now say they're simply going to find another place to hunt. Brad Rogers has more.
There's a horse farm up there, and the place is just loaded with deer, and it was a great area.
Joe LaFave used to hunt deer for the venison every year in his hometown of Fairfield, but after the discovery of dangerous forever chemicals in fields and animals here, his hunting days are over.
Everybody that's hunted, it's already in our systems. You know, we've been eating bird and turkey and deer for years here. So everybody's contaminated. There's no question about it.
He says his neighbors have high levels of PFAS, and he's still waiting on his test results. Meanwhile, the state is waiting for the rest of their test results on the 60 deer they harvested a few months ago from the Fairfield area.
And what we saw with when we tested some turkeys this spring was once you got off some of the highly contaminated areas, levels dropped pretty rapidly in the tissue of these animals. Once you remove the PFAS and give them fresh water or fresh feed, PFAS levels drop very quickly.
For now, the state is still advising hunters not to eat any deer, fish, or wildlife from the Fairfield area.
I certainly wouldn't hunt down in that Fairfield area.
But hunters we spoke with also know many other farms across Maine are contaminated with PFAS.
How concerned are you about the deer meat around?
Definitely unnerving to think about, taking an animal and not being able to use it.
Two major deer meat processors near Fairfield say they're as busy as ever after opening weekend of hunting season.
I got people still coming from the Fairfield area, and they're still eating them. They don't care. They said they've done it for years and years. I wouldn't feed it to my kid. Everything's so contaminated now.
Joe LaFave won't either, now that he knows the dangerous health effects of these forever chemicals from sludge spread on farm fields.
I lost a daughter last October. Kidney and heart disease, and they're saying that the PFAS is a big cause of that. They can't dismiss it now. It's just the proof is out there.
Right now, there's no way for hunters to test game for PFAS. Mark Laddie says because of the high demand, labs are only running tests for state and federal agencies.
Unfortunately, there's no way for a hunter to take a sample of the deer they shot and get it to a lab.
The state hopes these tests on deer harvested from the Fairfield area will increase their understanding of PFAS in wildlife, so they can apply it in other contaminated parts of the state.
After the break, we'll take a look at new research that shows those who use high-potency marijuana are more likely to suffer mental health problems. We'll be right back.
In Maine, our independence, hard work, and freedoms mean everything, but not to Paul LePage. He's repeatedly attacked women's reproductive freedom. LePage supported letting states ban abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest, defunded family planning programs, and told extremists we shouldn't have abortion. He's a risk to our health and freedom, and it's why we can't go back to Paul LePage. The top funder of Better Maine is the Democratic Governors Association.
After 9/11, Jared Golden joined the Marines and served the country he loves. When he returned, he ran for office to serve the state he calls home. He passed legislation to cap the cost of insulin for seniors and lower drug prices for people across Maine. But Bruce Poliquin, he went from Wall Street to Washington to serve himself, taking thousands from drug companies and voting against capping costs. Jared Golden, from here for us. Moderate PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm Jim with Lowry & Associates. Winning car accident cases is what we do. Check out a few of our big wins.
I broke my leg, and they got me $205,000. What did the twos do for you?
I injured my back, and they got me $300,000. What did the twos do for you?
I broke multiple bones, and Lowry & Associates got me $700,000.
Call the twos. We win for you.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do? Call 222-2222.
Joe Baldacci was born, raised, and educated right here in Bangor. He's promoted and supported hundreds of millions of dollars in commercial and economic development projects. He has fought to protect vital services from drastic budget cuts. In his first term in the state Senate, Joe delivered for his constituents in Bangor and Herman on jobs, school funding, expansion of health care, and protecting the environment. Joe Baldacci, delivering results for the people of Bangor and Herman.
I've got plans. We've all got them. But Bruce Poliquin's plans would put Social Security benefits at risk. He planned to raise the retirement age and cap retirees' cost of living increases. He even opposed allowing Medicare to negotiate cheaper drug prices. But Jared Golden didn't just plan. He passed legislation to cap seniors' drug costs and let Medicare negotiate drug prices. Jared Golden is the man with the right plan.
DCCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Big news today affecting your money. The Fed is expected to raise interest rates again. It's trying to bring down prices on things like groceries, but new figures show those prices keep going up, and so do corporate profits. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more.
Today, the Fed is expected to raise interest rates by 0.75 percentage point in its ongoing battle to tamp down inflation.
It's going to be a difficult 12, 18 months under any scenario.
The average credit card balance is about $6,200. Making minimum payments, it already costs an extra $1,200 in interest because of rate hikes this year. After today's expected rate hike, those extra interest payments will jump to more than $1,500. In raising rates, the Fed is trying to slow down the economy enough to drive down prices without triggering a recession.
Yeah, the Fed rate hikes are biting the economy. You can see it clearly in the housing market. Mortgage rates are up over 7% for a 30-year fix. It's also had a big impact on the stock markets.
Inflation is hitting the grocery store hard. A dozen eggs up more than $1 last year. A bag of chips now $6.05, and a 2-liter bottle of soda topping $2. All while food companies report record profits. Pepsi saying profits for its chips and drinks rose 20% in the last year, proving many customers are still managing to pay the higher prices, at least for now.
With a little bit of luck on things like the pandemic and the Russian invasion of Ukraine, if nothing else goes wrong, and with some reasonably deft policy making by the Fed, they don't have to be perfect, but they have to be roughly right. I think we'll make our way through without actually experiencing an outright recession.
As for the cost of food, analysts say price increases at the grocery store are outpacing restaurants, so you might want to consider having Thanksgiving dinner out. Turkey prices are up 23% this year. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, Washington.
Now to your health and a warning about cannabis use. With the potency of cannabis rising, new research warns of potential dangers, including anxiety and psychosis. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze explains.
Marijuana is the third most widely used drug in the world, behind nicotine and alcohol. Many people believe pot may be less risky and harmful than other substances. But recent data published in the medical journal The Lancet shows those who use high-potency marijuana are actually more likely to suffer mental health problems. Researchers from the UK found those who use high-potency cannabis are more likely to develop psychosis or a psychotic disorder compared to non- or low-potency users. High-potency marijuana use was associated with cannabis use disorder. Those who use high-potency cannabis were 2 times more likely to develop anxiety disorder than low-potency cannabis users. To keep them safe, researchers are urging policymakers to regulate potency levels. With this Medical Minute, I'm Elizabeth Schulze, ABC News.
When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
After 9/11, Jared Golden joined the Marines and served the country he loves. When he returned, he ran for office to serve the state he calls home. He passed legislation to cap the cost of insulin for seniors and lower drug prices for people across Maine. But Bruce Poliquin, he went from Wall Street to Washington to serve himself, taking thousands from drug companies and voting against capping costs. Jared Golden, from here, for us. Moderate TAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Inflation, a broken supply chain, and high gas prices. Mainers everywhere are facing tough decisions about rising costs. Growing up as part of a small family business in Leeds, I learned what a struggling economy does to small businesses, jobs, and to working class people. And serving as a Marine in Afghanistan and Iraq taught me to stand strong for what's right in the face of adversity. I'm Jared Golden, and that's why in Congress, I'm an independent voice for you, taking on my own party to stand up for Maine families. I was the only Democrat to vote against trillions of dollars of President Biden's agenda because I knew it would make inflation worse. I helped pass new laws to rebuild our nation's infrastructure and begin to repair our broken supply chain. And I'm fighting Biden's failed energy policy. forcing him to drill more American oil to lower gas prices. I'll always be an independent fighter for you. I'm Jared Golden, and this is my family. I approve this message because when it comes to doing what's right for your family, I'll never back down.
I've got plans. We've all got them. But Bruce Poliquin's plans would put Social Security benefits at risk. He planned to raise the retirement age and cap retirees' cost of living increases. He even opposed allowing Medicare to negotiate cheaper drug prices. But Jared Golden didn't just plan. He passed legislation to cap seniors' drug costs and let Medicare negotiate drug prices. Jared Golden is the man with the right plan.
DCCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Welcome back. We've got another mild day for November. Let's check your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, happy Wednesday afternoon. We've made it to the middle of the week, and your full weather forecast brought to you by Scott's Recreation, New England's largest trailer dealer, home of Maine's lowest camper and tractor prices, with locations in Turner, Manchester, Herman, and Orono, Maine. All right, look at this. A very nice day so far with a lot of sunshine. We have no clouds overhead, as a lot of that has moved out. We have high pressure that's right overhead right now, located right about in here. That's right behind us front. So that means some very nice weather for us here. High pressure to the south of the front, too. So going to be very nice for us. Just a little bit of wind out of the north from time to time, reaching up to around 20 miles per hour. The warm front well off across the upper Midwest and Canada. But otherwise, here's some wind from time to time, too, that we're going to be seeing. Some gusts up to 25 miles per hour during the afternoon period, but gradually backing off as we head later into the afternoon period before you really start calming down later tonight, which may allow some areas of fog to develop in a few areas as we head towards tomorrow morning. Wave heights at around 3 to 4 feet according to some of the buoys. Some lower heights being noted right about it here. So, of course, there are no small craft advisories in effect at this time. But temperatures recently, look at this. We've been really spoiled with 60s and 70s, even a few 50s from time to time as well. In fact, our average highs should actually be in the lower 50s, 51 degrees. We're going to reach for the lower 60s today, upper 50s for your Thursday, middle 60s for your Friday, upper 60s, lower 70s Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Then back down, cooling off a bit Tuesday into the middle 50s. I haven't dug this out in a while, the muggy meter. You want to know why I'm digging this out? Because the dew points will be on the rise Saturday and a Sunday with lower 60s possible. So on top of being a little bit warmer, you might notice a little bit of moisture in the air as well before you fall back as we head towards your Monday. Yes, I know it's November. Usually this is tucked away for the season, but whenever it rises, we got to dig it out, right? But otherwise, longer-term forecast, November 7th through the 11th, some very warm temperatures expected, high probability that will be well above normal, or well above average across a good part of the state of Maine. So definitely enjoy the warm temperatures while we can before things do start to cool off back to where they should be for this time of the year. A lot of sunshine today, temperatures in the lower 60s. We'll have a few clouds and a little bit of fog trying to sneak in later on tonight, but by tomorrow, maybe a few clouds. We'll call it a partly cloudy sky overall, but still very nice weather moving forward, especially for this time of the year. For today, lower 60s, mostly sunny and breezy. North wind getting up to around 20 miles per hour. For tonight, lower 30s, mostly clear areas of dense fog, with the wind overall looking nice and calm. For tomorrow, upper 50s, maybe lower 60s, partly cloudy. Southwest wind getting up to around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Already, Scott's Recreation extended forecast. So here we are. The weather remains nice Friday and Saturday. Mixture of clouds and sun. Temperatures in the middle to upper 60s, maybe 70s on Saturday. We're in the lower 70s on Sunday. Also, the time change, 2 a.m. becomes 1 a.m. with a small chance for rain showers.
Thanks, Devin. I can't believe it's November already, and it certainly doesn't feel that way. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening with Beth Jones and Peter Dubois on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a great afternoon.
Jared Golden and the Democrats by the numbers. The worst inflation in 40 years. Home heating, groceries, gasoline, all through the roof. 87,000 new IRS agents, $20 billion in new taxes on the middle class, all because 83% of the time Jared Golden votes with Biden and Pelosi. On November 8, stop the Democrats' war on the middle class. Defeat Jared Golden. The NRCC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.